is better for the fiscal year.
I like statement money.
So I just want to piggyback on that, is there anything specific that you guys would like to remove from the budget or, to pay for the 15 beforehand since it's not in the budget? Or, are we willing to use some hotel motel money? 50% of it has to go to recreation. We are allowed to use it for our own recreation, which would be the court. But it would take 15,000 away from a potential applicant next February.
Well, it's
Then you don't.
community wide, so I mean.
Yeah, you can use
I would
it
do that.
anywhere. I
I would
was
support
gonna
that.
propose that.
If we can remove the engineer fees.
I know.
Trade
There's not a lot of cushion in there anyways.
I make a motion to approve that item.
Second,
With the,
And
using
we
the
had a,
hotel motel.
Oh, no, we're just saying 15,000, we have to have a
decide
separate.
where it's gonna come from.
We'll
It'll
have,
probably come
you
from the
can put
hotel
that in your
motel.
motion.
okay, and 15,000 is gonna be made up by taking it from the hotel motel tax.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Earl?
Yes,
Don?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
It'd be my honor to do the oath of office for Ward 2 councilman. Which is Jennifer, I believe. Oh, Jennifer, I think you need to raise your right hand and you will repeat after me. I, Jennifer Sparger, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability, discharge all duties of the office of council member Ward 2.
Repeat.
Discharge all duties
Discharge all duties of council member Ward 2
in Bloomfield, Iowa,
in Bluefield, Iowa,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now and hereafter as required by law.
Congratulations.
And we'll do the remaining of you. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Help up. Pass your goods to when you got married. Keep the long line. Hi, Jennifer.
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
All right. Okay,
Don't even remember what was said.
public comments tonight. Okay. Tell me, Joe.
So the only thing I have tonight, I finished the revenue section of the budget for next year. The first draft, of course, is, we're gonna change it a few times, but for fiscal year 25 project, if you have anything that you're thinking we need to do other than the two sides of the sidewalk, shoot me an email, give me a call, bring it to the next meeting or two. I'm hoping to have the first draft of the expenses done by the end of December. So, like I said, we have $1 million usually cushioned to spare. We think about 800 is going to be set aside for the north and the west side of the sidewalks. But if there's anything in particular as you're driving around town that comes to mind that you think we really need to do, let you know as soon as possible.
That's it.
That's it.
Rusty.
Just real quick, like we said on the pool, they're pretty much finished up with concrete, other than what we've got to do in fence. Looks real nice. We'll have new shade structure. It'll have new park benches in the spring. Be really nice to see that all done. South side sidewalks, they will be laying pavers on first of the week. They're gonna start, all the concrete's poured there. As they said, they're working on the west side of Main Street now. We got a different contractor that will do the pavers, so they'll start on them next week. It shouldn't take them long. And finish that project up. Again, over Rebecca and Neville, those streets are done. They paved it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they moved out of town. Looked really nice, turned out real good. And I think the highway sidewalks, I think they've only got one block left. They'll be out of town. So get close on everything. We got Christmas lights up. Ready to roll.
Thank you.
Question.
Okay.
Are we gonna do anything about the light pole bases on the east side of the square where they tried to fit a, or make it a round pole?
This time we don't have any answer, or we don't have anything that we're gonna do with it. We've decided to possibly paint the round base and see.
Who actually set the poles?
We
Did he set the pole?
We set the bases, set the pole, yes, sir. It was a change in, that became a change in elevation during the process that we was not involved in. They gave us an elevation and it was done at a different elevation after we had to do ours first and then sidewalk in at their own elevation. So that's why we came up with that issue. We asked the whole company to meet and talk to them. They're gonna give us a base, come up with a metal square base to cover that round and maybe decorate it a little bit. And they said, no, they could come up with anything.
Why not?
What's that?
Why
Yeah,
not?
why not? That's not the
Ron, give a reason.
spaceship on Mars.
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
Ron,
Figure out that out.
Ron Feigl is our representative from Hall of Fame, who we purchased the lights from. And when he just basically came back, when I told him, you need to figure it out, and said that their engineers couldn't figure that out, how to make that work. So I had a conversation with him earlier this week, because that conversation was a couple weeks ago, and I said to him, that answer's not okay. I think the engineers can probably figure something out, even if it's just a cover to go over that and then connect somehow to the pole, whether on the inside or the outside. I said, would you please take it back to your engineers and see what you can do? He said, yes, I'll take it back to the engineers. I said, when can I expect a call back? He said, next week. I said, okay, I'll expect a call back next week with whatever solution you have.
I'm gonna ruffle some feathers when I say this, but we often get criticized by the citizens saying the city doesn't know what in the H they're doing.
And we heard
And I don't wanna point the finger at anybody. I mean, there's 2 or 3 people that should have caught this, or entities that should have caught this. And that's just one more reason for people to say, city doesn't know what to do.
right.
Well, how that worked, just so it can be public, is when we ordered the bases, which we did through Iowa Base, and we ordered the lights, which we did through Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame engineers spoke with Iowa Base. Hall of Fame gave Iowa Base all of the measurements and the specs. They spoke between the two of them. We were CC'd in on emails that told us where the bolts had to go, where the wires had to go, all of those things had to go. So the conversations that happened between them, and they're the experts. So what happened then was we received them, and that's what we received. By that time we got the lights, the bases were already in. So yeah, I think there's some recourse, which is what I told Ron too, is there's some recourse for what he spoke to Iowa Base about us needing and what we actually received. So
Is the base, are the bases of those poles hollow? That just
Solid cement.
no,
No, I mean
Oh, the pole,
the
yes,
pole.
yes, they are.
why can't we raise that pole a couple inches, chip away some of that concrete, make it a square peg and set the post right down flex on the sidewalk?
Yeah, you can't do that with the way the inside of the pole is. The bolts are too long. We could come up with a base, but the
The
downside.
second alternative would be to put a donut around the one that you got. Put a donut base around the one that you got, same height as the round pedestal, whatever you're calling it.
We can look into it. It's
As bad
just
as it does now.
that side of the square is gonna be tough to make them all look the same, because if we do that on the 3 that are sticking up, if we pull that light pole and build a square base for it, and we could throw a tin cover over it.
I'm not talking about a square base, I'm talking
Well,
about,
I'm just saying, it's got, because your light pole is square, there ain't no changing that. It's gonna be easier to put a square base over the round base and make it square to square and decorate that a little bit, but then you got your 2 on the end that are sunk in the concrete, and then we've got to pick them up, and then our bolts ain't long enough to reach the light. So therein lies probably, when we work with the DOT, they gave us an elevation to shoot our things off of, our bases, and we set the 5 bases as we were told, and then the elevations got changed during the sidewalk project. So yes, Don, you're correct. We do hear that once in a while. But I'll be glad and we'll look into it. We'll see if we can dress them up a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
Tammy?
The only thing I wanted to tell you was, Ashley actually got our WQI grant submitted today for the north and the west sides of the sidewalk. And I just wanted to give you kind of the time frame. So the pre-application is actually due tomorrow. We will be notified in the pre-application process, by December 15th. Then if we are selected to move on to the full application will be due February 9th. If we are awarded, we will be awarded on February 23rd. So that's the process for the WQI grant. So there's a pre-application, a final application, and that's the time frame.
That it?
Mhm.
Council update?
One or two things, and not so much city related, but, next month, December 16th is my Wreaths Across America. Thing I do, I think this is year 6 or 7, and, I spoke to Rusty. I just want to let folks know that I had made a request to use that east garage of the IAAF cemetery to store wreaths in. So there's a trailer in there that holds the flags for the South Cemetery. I asked Rusty if he could help out with maybe putting that someplace. So like we got about 700 right now, about 750 wreaths ordered. If we get having another influx here, so I'm hoping to get it to up to 800 or so.
What kind of shape is that trailer in? Because they don't have anywhere we can keep it inside. We could keep it under a roof, but not a full.
And if you can't find a place, I had a friend volunteer his includes.
With winter coming on, we're putting everything inside with the heated shop. We absolutely don't have a place to keep it in a full shop. We've got
Set it outside or-
so if it was you could put it under the hoop building where we have our salt pile, wouldn't hurt it. We're only gonna be there a couple of weeks with it, correct?
A week at
Yes,
most.
I mean, it would be fine. It'd be out of the weather.
The wreaths will be delivered sometime between the 11th and the 15th. And we place them on the 16th, so the
Or if it's a good enough trailer, we could set it in our lot where it'd be
yes,
protected.
it's in pretty good condition. Yeah, the enclosed, it's
It's weatherproof. I mean, for that
Yeah.
week, we just put it down in our shop lot where it'd be, under watchful eyes, I mean, right?
right. Yes, I just want to let, I made that request. It's not really city or council related, but
Good job.
community thing. And then also the cemetery board, we met this week. There is going to be a change. Ron Kenius is stepping down as the director. He's staying on the board, but he's stepping down. Larry Miller is taking over the helm. I'll be assisting him a little bit. So there's that. And we're also looking at possibly canceling our plans for that columbarium. We're going to do some studies on it, but right now we're kind of leaning towards canceling that and trying to use those funds for something else at the cemetery. Keep contact as far as those funds.
Yeah.
And what we can and can't do.
He came in.
Oh, he did already?
Yeah.
Well, then I'm telling you something you already know.
That's okay. We're on it.
All right, thanks. That's all I got.
We got notice today, just got this, just as I was leaving for council meeting tonight, that we got final SHPO approval of our historic preservation guidelines, the booklet that we put together. And so they finally did final approval on that. So we'll be meeting next week to start figuring roll those out. So.
That it for council? Alrighty, next week is Thanksgiving. Please remember, if you are able, we will be having a dinner at noon at the City Hall. And we will close that at noon for the rest of the day and then close on Thursday and Friday. So if you can, please come. There's always plenty of food and you can hear my state of the union. Hey, one employee says. Other than that, that's all I got.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Earl,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Jennifer. Yes.
How soon do we need to print these back? Give you certain days.
I can let you know by next week.
Whenever you just give us an hour notice.